Hello dear students, I am Dr. Chandrakala HT. In this video, under data link layer, you will be learning FDDI and SONET. The FDDI and SONET standards came into existence after the new kind of communication channels called fiber optic cables came into being. So initially when networks started, we had twisted pair cables and coaxial cables which could be used for LANs in order to provide physical connectivity between the systems. These channels had their own disadvantages. The one disadvantage is their speed. The speed is less, and the physical cabling, the size of the cables was huge. Hence, they occupied more space. Later on, new kind of communication channels called fiber optic cables came into being. These were very small in size, and the speed with which they could do data transfer was much higher compared to the twisted pair cable or coaxial cables. So, with the advent of optic cables, two new standards became popular, the FDDI and SONET. First, let us discuss FDDI. FDDI stands for Fiber Distributed Data Interface. So this is an ANSI standard which is used for transmission of data in LANs, which are connected through fiber optic cables. So the FDDI is applicable to large LANs, which can extend up to 200 kilometers in diameter. So with the conventional cables, the LAN's diameter were very less initially. So they could connect computers within a small office or room earlier. But with optic cables, the LAN could extend up to 200 kilometers in diameter. So in such LANs, FDDI were used. So FDDI, such LANs were in fact called as FDDI. FDDIs will make use of optical fiber as the physical transmission medium, and the FDDI protocol or standard operates in the physical layer and the medium access sublayer of the data link layer in the OSI network model. FDDI provides a high data rate of 100 megabits per second, and it can support thousands of users at a time without any interference in the signal levels. Can cover up to 200 kilometers and kilometers of distance. It can support voice and multimedia communication as well. It makes use of 802.4 token bus standard, and it's a ring-based token passing mechanism which is used in FDDI. FDDI uses two token rings, a primary ring for data transmission and token transmission, and a secondary ring which will provide a backup if the primary ring fails. So it provides service in case primary ring fails. So in order to achieve fault tolerance, two token rings have been incorporated in the FDDI. The FDDI technology serves as a backbone for even wide area network. It's not only used on LANs, it can serve as backbone for even wide area networks. So this picture shows how FDDI looks like. So the primary token ring connects the servers, workspaces, and workstations. And the secondary ring also serves as a backup for the primary token ring in the FDDI. So it can connect heterogeneous LAN networks into one and expand the capacity of the LAN. Now coming to the frame format, which is followed in the FDDI, the frame format is quite similar to token bus because token bus is the basic architecture which is followed in FDDI. The frame format is quite similar to token bus, and this is shown in this particular picture. The FDDI frame format consists of 1 byte preamble, 1 byte start delimiter, 1 byte frame control, 2 to 6 bytes of destination address and source address, a variable length payload, 4 bytes checksum, and 1 byte end delimiter. A 1-byte preamble is used for clock synchronization between the sender and receiver. The start delimiter is a 1-byte binary combination which marks the beginning of the frame. The frame control byte specifies whether the payload contains a data frame or control frame. The destination address as well as source address are 2 to 6 bytes. They are used for destination station and source station respectively. So if it is only 2 bytes, it can handle only local nodes. It can address only local nodes. If it is 6 bytes, it can address even global nodes. The payload length is variable and it carries the data which is given by the network layer. A 4 bytes frame check sequence is used for error detection and it is appended in the checksum field. And a 1 byte which marks the end of the frame is used as the end delimiter. So that was about FDDI. Yet another optical networking standard is SONET. SONET stands for Synchronous Optical Networking. So it's a standardized digital communication protocol which can do synchronous transfer of multiple data streams over long distances, making use of fiber optic cables. This is a physical layer specification. Using SONET, we can transmit simultaneously voice, data, and video at high speeds, like 1 gigabits per second through a single fiber. So that's how huge the speed of SONET is. So in telephone networks, the SONET is used for transmission of huge amount of telephone calls and data streams through the fiber. And the SONET was standardized by the ANSI, American National Standard Institute. And there is one more SONET which is standardized by SDH, Synchronous Digital Hierarchy, which is standardized by the International Telecommunication Union. So SONET as well as the SDH both are equivalent in terms of functionalities. Coming to the format of SONET frames, SONET frame comprises of a block of 810 bytes and the sampling rate of SONET is 8,000 frames or bytes, and this is quite similar to the sampling rate of even telephone networks. SONET frame is represented as a rectangular block of bytes, which consists of 9 rows and 90 columns, and this is shown in the figure. Out of these, the 3x3 section of the SONET frame is used to include system information, and it is named as system overhead, and the rest part of the SONET frame carries the payload. So when we say system overhead, which is marked in yellow, it can contain section overhead or system overhead information. And the rest part, which is shown in orange, it contains the actual data sorry, the first 3 rows of the system overhead, they contain section overhead, and the next 6 contain the line overhead. That was about the SONET. Now let us learn a little about bridges. Bridges are special network devices which can connect multiple LANs together to form larger LANs or local area networks. So the process of aggregating networks like this or interconnecting small networks like this is called as network bridging. A bridge connects different components of the network so that they appear as part of a single network. The bridges operate in the data link layer of the OSI model. They are also named as layer 2 switches because of this. This picture shows a bridge connecting two LANs. So this is LAN 1 containing some number of nodes, and this is LAN 2. In between, there is a hardware device called bridge, which will aggregate and interconnect these two LANs, and it will ensure that all these nodes appear and work like a part of a single network. Now coming to the uses of a bridge. The bridges connect two or more different LANs which have similar protocols, and they provide communication between these devices. By joining multiple LANs, bridges can multiply the capacity of the single LAN. And since they operate in the data link layer, they operate data as frames. On receiving the data frame, a bridge has a database which it will consult and decide whether to pass the frame, bypass the frame, transmit the frame, or discard the frame. So if the frame has a destination MAC address of the same network, of a computer which is in the same network, the bridge will pass the network to that particular node and then discard it. If the frame has a destination MAC address of a node which is in the connected network, it will simply forward the frame towards it. So by deciding whether to forward or discard the frame, it prevents a single faulty node from breaking down the entire network. So in cases where the destination MAC address is not available, in such cases, the bridge will broadcast the data frame to all the nodes in the network. So in order to discover new segments, the bridge will maintain a MAC address table. Hence, it will have the information of all the nodes which are connected to the network. Each node will have a unique MAC address, and the MAC address table will have an entry for each node in the network. So here, in order to provide full functionalities, the bridges have their operations very transparent. No major hardware and software changes will be required for installation of bridges. They are quite compatible with all types of nodes, and bridges will never differentiate between the type of packets, whether it is IP packet or AppleTalk packet, which come from the network layer or above. They will simply forward them, because the bridges will never examine the payload field of the data frame which arrives. They only see the MAC address and they will switch the pack. Bridges can also connect to virtual LANs, and they can make larger virtual LANs. They can interconnect one or more virtual LANs together. There are wireless bridges also available today. These wireless bridges, they can connect to wireless networks together in order to frame a larger wireless network as well. So instead of having, say, one high speed or better data rate LAN using a SONET or FDDI, if that is not affordable, we can make use of bridges to interconnect to two different LANs and to enhance the capacity of that particular LAN configuration. Hence, bridges are quite useful devices. So in this video, we learned FDDI, SONET, and bridges. Thank you.